IoT Analytics, the leading IoT software companies of 2023, a reaction video, Take 0. All right, so in our mastermind call last Friday, so that would have been like April 14th, April 13th, 2023, towards the end of our mastermind call, after we had finished doing the sprint planning for our virtual factory, one of our students, his name is Asaf Kadosh. He's one of the members of Mastermind. When I asked, does anybody have any additional questions, anything you guys want me to comment on? He posted in the chat, hey, would you take a look at this post on LinkedIn? And I'd love to hear your reaction. And in that post, so I clicked on the link and it went to this IoT Analytics LinkedIn, which I had not actually heard of before. I knew they existed, but I hadn't really heard of them before. IoT Analytics is sort of like, think of them as Gartner, but for IoT, and they're much smaller. They're based in Germany, I think. They're a small organization for IoT, and they do like market research, that kind of stuff. Okay, and they have a bunch of analysts on their team. Go ahead, Zach.
They're the ones that analyze the executive quarterly earnings calls and then put a heat map of like what are the words that are commonly trending in these calls, like which ones are increasing in importance, decreasing, etc.
Correct. So they released on this LinkedIn post. So what Asaf wanted me to do was take a look at the card that they released and just comment on the platforms that they put in these quadrants. Okay, so it's basically broken down into device and edge software, security, middleware platforms, including edge management, IoT platforms, databases, IoT middleware, data ingestion tools, message brokers, protocol converters. Then they have an application layer, which is remote access, AR, VR, and digital twin. Okay. And then they just basically put company logos on there. And he wanted me to comment on it. Now, I want to give Asaf Kadosh a shout out. I get lots of questions. Lots of people reach out and ask me to comment on certain subjects or certain published posts and stuff. But they always ask me if they can remain anonymous. So Asaf happens to be one of the people who doesn't care that he's the one who's poking the bear here. So a shout out to Asaf. Most of the time, people who ask the question ask to remain anonymous, and they just let me take the heat from the company by giving the answer. So let's go ahead and take a look at this slide. I'll read the post that they put on LinkedIn. So Josh, leave that slide up. So, it says the IoT software landscape 2023 is out. IoT software spending reached $53 billion in 2022, and it continues to grow strongly. The latest IoT software adoption report 2023 highlights the top 100 plus IoT software vendors used today based on an extensive survey of IoT users. The most common IoT software companies include 1, Microsoft, 2, Amazon Web Services, 3, Siemens, 4, IBM, 5, Cisco, 6, Oracle, 7, PTC, and 8, MongoDB. Yes, you heard that right. They have MongoDB as the 8th most commonly used IoT software company in the world. If that alone doesn't tell you that, this report isn't worth the paper it's written on, nothing will. Okay. So there's a link in here that says read the complete analysis, including selected market statistics. And the author is Dimitrios Paraskevopoulos. Sounds like a Greek guy. So I do know that Dimitrios is one of their low-level analysts. So I do know that he's an analyst in the organization. He's not one of the high-level analysts. So it's possible, that he put this together. But what I want to do is let's go ahead and just take a look at this. Okay.
There's some obvious ones missing, like right away.
Yeah. There are some, and we're going to point them out. We're going to point out some of the glaring omissions in these various sections. But there's a couple that show up in basically every category. Okay. There's actually 3 of them that shows up in basically every category.
Siemens is all over them.
Okay. Right. So, and then they also put them as 1, 2, 3 in the top. Okay. So what we're talking about though is IoT software companies. Okay. So this is IoT Analytics, IoT software companies. And their argument is, and based on their own LinkedIn post, the IoT software landscape 2023 is out. IoT software spending reached $53 billion in 2022, and it continues to grow strongly. The latest IoT software adoption report 2023 highlights the top 100 plus IoT software vendors used today based on an extensive survey of IoT users. First off, it wasn't extensive. How do I know it wasn't extensive? It was 100 companies. Okay, in their own report says that they did a survey of 100 organizations. Okay, first off, our digital transformation maturity assessment data set, which I don't think is really all that big, is 1,380 companies. They did a survey of 100. Okay. Number two, there's a second point in here. If you see the fine print at the very bottom, and I'm going to have to zoom in here for myself to read it. But point number two says that only 3 companies selected IoT applications shown. There are many more. So if you look at the IoT application layer at the top, only 3 of 100 companies selected any of the companies there. Okay. And they wrote that in and to their credit, they put it there, but it's the post that they posted and the slide deck that they posted. I haven't even looked at any of the companies on the slide yet. And I know that this is nothing but me, this organization marketing companies that paid them to do work. And I would argue it's almost certainly their 3 biggest spenders are Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Siemens. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a look at the slide. And by the way, let me say this. The guy who's the CEO of IoT Analytics, his name is Knud, Knud Lass Luth. I actually read a lot of the stuff this guy posts. He's their chairman, the founder of IoT Analytics. I like the stuff he posts. I don't have anything against him. He seems like a really smart guy. I definitely don't want to take a shot at IoT Analytics. This is going to be a much bigger point here. Do not trust anything that's on this fucking slide for the love of God. If you are an organization who is making a decision about IoT or IIoT adoption, let's say for the argument, this is just IoT adoption. Okay. There are some glaring omissions. If this was just IoT software, the number one piece of software on there would be Python. Okay. If we were only talking about the Internet of Things software, the number one piece of software on there would be Python. And the reason why is because the number one used package in the Internet of Things is Mosquito running in Python. Okay. So Python's not even on here. So let's say for the sake of argument, what they mean is the industrial Internet of Things, IIoT software. Okay, so there's a difference between the Internet of Things and the industrial Internet of Things. Same concept, except one is for the industry. Okay, and there are basically certain requirements and regulations and security requirements primarily and standards you need to meet in order to be industrial software. Well, let's just point out. Let's go through the software. We'll start at the bottom. Let's do device and edge first, Zach and Vaughn. So what they've got is operating system for IoT devices at device edge. Okay. So they've got Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, IBM, WinDriver, Red Hat, Oracle, Canonical, and Envision Digital. Okay. First off, do we agree? First off, half those software doesn't belong there. Okay. I would say AWS definitely belongs there. Definitely. Like Greengrass is used all the time on the edge. Microsoft belongs there too. Their Azure IoT Edge belongs there. IBM belongs there. By the way, most people don't know IBM, did a lot of the initial funding to create messaging queue transport telemetry. Andy, I think his name is Andy Stanley, whatever. Arlen Nipper's partner when he invented MQTT, he's an IBM guy. Okay. Red Hat you don't put Red Hat as the edge component. Okay. Not that it can't be used on the edge, but it's just not, but what is obviously fucking missing here? What is the
Kepware PTC probably?
Kepware is the number one piece of software on the edge.
You could even probably say like Litmus should be on the like they have pretty good
Litmus automation. Sorba AI should be there. Okay, you know who else should be on the edge?
Inductive automation.
Inductive automation.
It took me like 10 minutes to find inductive automation. By the way, it's hidden. It's hidden under in data ingestion tools.
Yeah, and they put inductive automation under data ingestion. By the way, if you're only going to put inductive automation in one place, you're going to put it in the platform layer. You're going to put it under IoT platform. Inductive auto ignition is literally the #1 IoT platform on the planet by any metric, by literally any metric. As a platform itself, it has over 30%, over 33, 34% of the market share in industrial Internet of Things implementations. And how do we know? 1,380 companies, not 100. Okay, 1,380 companies. Here, moreover, I can reverse engineer this slide. The 3 companies that are basically in every section are Siemens, Microsoft, and AWS. Okay, now if you're saying the leading IoT software companies, this guy, the chairman is from Germany. He's a German guy. They're based in Germany. Okay, what he probably did was he probably called Siemens and asked Siemens for a referral to 100 companies that would answer a survey. That's probably what he did. He probably went to Siemens and said, could you give us a list of 100 companies that we could send a survey to? Because that's the
selection bias.
That's the only way. Selection bias is the only way you get to this result. I mean, they have software in here that doesn't belong in the section, that doesn't even have a function for the section that it's in. Seriously. I mean, what they did here, this is a...
HiByte's not even on there.
HiByte is not even on. It's a preposterous... It is a preposterous... Notice the #1 security, so the #1 industrial VPN in the whole planet is what? The #1 industrial VPN. TossiBox. Do you see TossiBox anywhere on this list? No. Not only is it #1 in terms of total installations, it's the #1 in terms of growth as well.
What about Tulip?
Obviously, Tulip should be in the platform section here. Moreover, they put MuleSoft under IoT middleware. Right. By the way, so MuleSoft is a Salesforce product. Okay. And by the way, it belongs there, but I wouldn't put it there as a leader. It may be a leader on like business integration, but not in the industrial Internet of Things for sure. I mean, MuleSoft's used by a lot of industrial customers, but it is if you have to choose between MuleSoft or HiByte, you're picking HiByte 1,000 times out of 1,000. Okay, this list is preposterous. Look at AR/VR. Look at the companies they have in AR/VR. There is only one company that belongs there.
I mean, PTC and Microsoft are pretty. I mean, Meta. I don't know who would you say?
Meta belongs there. So, but look who's missing.
Google.
Google is missing. So I would have only 3 companies there under AR/VR. I'd have Google, I'd have Meta, and I'd have Immersed VR. That's who I'd have. I'd have 3 companies.
Oh, Microsoft. On a related note, Microsoft closed down their virtual reality lab, their AltSpace VR. They sunset that project.
Awesome. They literally laid off 11,000 people in this division. They literally waved the white flag, and yet IoT. This fucking came out a couple weeks ago.
And the government canceled their big, virtual reality goggle order.
Right. This came out this month. So look at remote asset access. Look at what they put here. Okay. So they have Microsoft.
We're just tearing it apart right here.
They have Enable. They have Ninja One, Pulseway, TeamViewer, which by the way is Siemens product. It's the only place where they didn't put Siemens logo, but it's still a Siemens product. I mean, the bias is so unbelievably nauseating here. Okay. ProSoft, Intel, Zoho. Okay. First off, I'm a Zoho customer. Okay, we use Zoho. Our business infrastructure is all Zoho. If someone were to tell me that Zoho is the company that I would use for remote asset access, I would fucking laugh at them. I would be like, what kind of moron are you? That is not what I would define. And I'm not saying the IoT analytics people are morons. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you should be embarrassed you created this slide. And that who is it you think actually believes this shit? Like, you don't have to. I mean, I would love to hear Rick Bellotta, what I would give for Rick Bellotta to review this slide. Okay, this is preposterous. So my answer to anybody, Zach, anything else on here that you see that jumps out? I mean, on the remote asset access, right? Do you know who has the most installations? There's by the way, what is a company that is obviously missing in that has solutions, but is obviously missing in every category? And it's Rockwell. Rockwell is there as a platform, right? But they don't have Rockwell for
edge device.
Do you want to know one of the most common remote access or asset access strategies is using Rockwell products? VNCing into panel views. Okay. How did that not end up there? Okay. Moreover, it would have been totally appropriate to put WinCC under remote asset access, because that's a really common way of accessing your assets remotely is through WinCC VNC.
Opto22 should definitely be on there.
There are so many companies like
is Phoenix Contact,
Right. How did you not? That's another question. How did you not put Phoenix more? I mean, here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with this. Okay. IoT Analytics presented this as what?
They presented IoT software companies.
Right. The latest IoT software adoption report.
Yeah. HiByte is a glaring. They're one of the leading platforms right now.
Right.
And software companies, HiByte.
Yes. And the fact that inductive automation isn't all. I mean, how do you not have?
They're like as an afterthought under data integration. Yeah.
Right. How do you not have Seek on here?
Frameworks.
Exactly. How do you not have frameworks at a minimum on the edge component? Because frameworks, if you look at the original Tatsoft software, it was meant to be a replacement for what became Aviva Edge.
Got to give Jeff Never some love. Where's Flow?
Canary.
Canary. Flow.
But here's another one. Look at your message brokers and protocol converters. What's the number one broker in the world?
Emqx.
Emqx is the number one broker in the world.
Yeah, it's not there.
And it's not there.
They have RabbitMQ.
It's not easy, dude. This list is preposterous. That's what it is. It is literally not worth. I hope they didn't print it, because it wouldn't be worth the paper it was printed on. Hopefully it's just digital, and that for sustainability purposes they didn't print this. Okay, because that would be a crime. And by the way, I want to talk a little quickly about and let's be fair to IoT Analytics. Okay, I want to be fair. I don't know a whole lot about them. I'm reverse engineering basically the slide. I know that I do enjoy looking at Nude's KNUD, however you say his name, but I do enjoy his posts. He seems like a super sharp guy. Okay, I don't know if he's got good intentions, bad intentions. What I do know is that IoT Analytics is a market research firm for IoT, but their market research is based on the people who pay them to do the research.
Yeah, I will say their investor calls, their quarterly what's trending calls, those are valuable because they take time to go through that data and pick out the keywords.
The keywords, right.
Like Ira Sharp shares it, hey, look, this is what's trending. COVID was trending, and we could see like our work remotely or Industry 4.0. Yeah. What are the topics people are talking about?
But I want to, because I want to be fair. I want to be fair. By the way, I wouldn't put Apache on the message broker protocol converter side, but I would definitely put it on the data ingestion side.
You're just not going to glean any information by looking at this slide.
Moreover, you're going to be sent in the wrong direction. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's say you've got this slide in front of you. You know nothing about.
You just start putting the pieces of software there. All right, we need Siemens. We need.
And you start calling these people up. You're going to be calling people up for things that they can't even help you with. They're going to fucking sell to you. Yeah, you're going to buy something you don't need. You know what I mean? It really is preposterous. This list is preposterous. And by the way, so here's
what's the ERP tool, the customizable ERP tool? Odoo?
Odoo, yeah. So let me say, I want to be fair to IoT Analytics. If somebody from IoT Analytics wants to come on the podcast. We shot this as like a separate video. We're shooting the podcast in about 30 minutes. We decided to answer this separately. If somebody from IoT Analytics wants to come on our podcast and talk about what you guys do, I actually like the stuff you do. Yes, I'm being hard on you when it comes to this slide, okay? Because this is indefensible. I mean, obviously, no one's going to come on here and
Try to defend it.
No one's going to try and defend it because you have products in here that don't have offerings in the boxes you have them in. Okay. By any definition of the words that you're using. Okay. So this is indefensible. Okay. Obviously it's indefensible. Everybody in our community knew it was indefensible. That's why they were laughing when they were asking me to respond to it. I mean, they knew Walker was going to just tear this.
We've been set up.
By the way, I'd love Rick Bellata to take a view at this, take a shot at this. You know what I mean?
Like I've invested millions of dollars and I still can't change the leading IoT software.
Right. So what I'll say is I do like I don't want to, just because IoT Analytics put out a slide that I think misrepresents what they say it is supposed to be, because they said it is supposed to be the latest IoT software adoption report highlights the top 100 plus IoT software vendors used today based on an extensive survey of IoT users. No, this is not an extensive survey of IoT users, okay? And this is not a list of the top 100 IoT software vendors by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll guarantee there are things on this slide that are not a result of the data of the survey results. And the reason why is because you put stuff in sections here where they don't belong. They don't even have an offering in that area. Okay. So it is preposterous. This is absolutely preposterous. Anybody who follows us, just don't listen to this slide. I follow IoT Analytics. I do. I love them. I really do. But this slide, it's garbage. Any other comments, questions, concerns? You want to hear something funny? Real quick. I review products, right? You guys will see me mention products all the time. We started this new vendor training thing, this new vendor training program where we're going to be doing training programs on behalf of vendors. Okay, so you'll see this at IoT.University. We have, I think, our first handful of vendors have joined the program where we're going to be able to create their training programs. So you're going to learn how to use their software, their tools, but then also you learn how to use their tools to do digital transformation. So it'll all be in context. It's not just like what you would get when you go to a week-long training, okay? Part of the deal, in order for us to do that vendor training, is we do it our way. So the vendor can give us a list of things they want us to touch on. Hey, make sure you teach this, make sure you teach that. But they cannot tell us something we can't teach. They also can't tell us what we have to say. And they can't be critical. If we want it, part of the deal in our training is we are going to tell people where it is appropriate to use this platform or use this software or use this solution and where it is appropriate not to, based on our professional experience. I review lots of products, right? I got the Arduino Opta Wi-Fi here. I got the Ixon Cloud device here. I've got, PLC Next over there, Opta 22. I got a whole board full of stuff. People email me stuff all the time, okay? I never get paid to do a review. The only review I was ever paid to do was the company out of Colorado, the Edge, FreeWave Edge. FreeWave paid me to do the review, but they agreed that I get to say whatever I want. They got to, the deal was I would show them my review and they could, if they wanted to, not have me publish it, but they couldn't have me change it. So if they said, I don't want you to publish it, we wouldn't have published it because we were being paid, right? But they couldn't tell me what I had to say, right? This is very important. People who are giving your opinions on software, on hardware, on solutions, they cannot have a dog in the fight. They can't be benefiting financially when they are literally acting as experts. That's what they're doing right here. IoT Analytics is speaking from the voice of an expert, and they're saying, hey, you can trust us that this is best in class here. These are the leaders in these areas. There are leaders on here, by the way. It's not like every entry in here is wrong. Okay. But I mean, for goodness sakes, they put Epicor as an edge management platform. Seriously.
You would use like Docker or something, right?
Epicor is not an edge management platform.
It's an ERP.
Yes. Does Epicor have other solutions besides ERP? Yes. But they don't have an edge management platform. They don't have microservices for the deployment and management of edge services, hardware, and software. Okay. And they literally have Epicor in edge management platform. That's fucking preposterous. Seriously. Who do you think? Obviously, they're just trying to pull the wool over somebody's eyes, or maybe it was just oversight, but it's just preposterous. Okay. All right. I'm off my soapbox. Asaf, that goes out to you. Hopefully, you know where I stand on this slide now. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. Hey, like, subscribe, share the video, comment down below. Let us know whether you think we were fair, unfair here to this IoT analytics side. Let me say real quick, if anybody from IoT analytics wants to come on the podcast and even introduce your company and talk about what you guys do, love to have you on. We are allies here. We are friends. But when I screw up, I want my friends to tell me I screwed up. So everybody, we'll see you guys in the next one.